Let me tell you about one of the saddest financial mistakes I see. People spend their entire lives saving money only to die with millions in the bank. And then their kids use that money to live the life the parents were too afraid to enjoy. You spent decades mastering the art of saving, sure, but here's the catch. There's no magic switch to suddenly make you a joyful spender when you hit retirement. And what happens when you're successful at saving? Well, you risk leaving your kids the life you could have lived. I see this more often than you might think. A couple spends 30 or 40 years doing everything right. They save diligently, they avoid unnecessarily spending, they drive the same car until it's practically held together with duct tape. And then eventually they pass away with a significant estate. And guess what? The kids get everything, including that duct taped car. Now, the irony is that those children end up enjoying their parents' money and have more comfort than their parents had. Their parents saved every dollar. The kids renovate the kitchen, the parents rarely traveled. The kids go to Italy. The parents drank the $12 bottle of wine, and the kids might open a $150 bottle. And when you see that pattern enough times, it makes you pause and ask a question. Did those people who accumulated the money actually enjoy it as much as they could have? Part of the reason this happens is psychological. Saving is a habit. It's a behavior you build over decades. And if you spent your whole life as a saver, it's not like a light switch that can suddenly flip and change you into a spender in retirement. Many retirees struggle with this transition. They've mastered the art of accumulation, but never developed the habit of spending with confidence. So what happens is people protect themselves from one risk, the risk of running out of money, but they accidentally create another risk, the risk of not living enough. I sometimes say there are two scoreboards in life. There's the financial scoreboard, and then there's the life lived scoreboard. The financial scoreboard is your net worth, your investments, your retirement accounts, but the life scoreboard is something completely different. It's the experiences you've had, the places you've traveled, the memories you've created with your family. And sometimes these two scoreboards get out of balance. Many people become incredibly successful on the financial scoreboard, but they forget to invest in the life scoreboard along the way. Years ago, I worked at Via Rail. We talked a lot about creating positive, memorable customer experiences. Yes, I remember that. Experiences that people would remember long after the trip was over. But that idea doesn't just apply to customer service, it applies to life in general. But instead of customer experiences, we should be creating family experiences, because clients look back on their lives and they rarely tell me, I wish I had saved a little more. They say things like, I wish we had taken that trip. I wish we had spent more time together. I wish we had done that while we still could, while we still had the health. Now, this doesn't mean that we should be reckless with money, but it does mean that money is a tool. It's not a scoreboard. After all, he who dies with the most money still dies. And the goal isn't to die with a big pile of money. The goal is to deploy your money at the time it creates the most value in your life. And this is where proper planning becomes incredibly important. We create a retirement plan for clients. We don't just look at their basic spending needs. That's only the starting point. We also run additional scenarios. What if you traveled more? What if you take that golf trip every year? What if you increase your vacation budget? We actually model those possibilities so that clients can see the impact. What does this extra spending mean for the longevity of the portfolio? How does it affect the probability of success? How much might still be left for the next generation? Because when you can see these numbers clearly, something powerful happens. You get permission to enjoy your money. And that's really the whole goal of planning. Not just protecting you from running out of money, but giving you the confidence to live well along the way. Another important thing to remember is that financial plan is not a one and done exercise. Your plan should be revisited regularly, typically every 6 months to a year. Account values should change, markets will change, tax laws and legislation will change. Your plan should evolve as life evolves. It shouldn't become a surprise if you're going to run out of money someday. You should know well in advance what your trajectory looks like so that small adjustments can be made along the way. And sometimes I joke with clients that this isn't the Titanic. We're not sailing full speed towards an iceberg, hoping that we're going to somehow miss it. Good planning means that you can see the iceberg on the horizon long before it becomes a problem. And when you see it early, you can make some small course adjustments and small spending adjustments or tax adjustments or investment adjustments without having to make a huge sacrifice later. And when all of that comes together, something really powerful happens. You gain the confidence to enjoy the wealth you spent your whole life building. Because in the end, it's not just about leaving a legacy. It's about living your life fully. So what does your plan look like? Call us, book a free discovery call, and find out. And that's how we help you to live for today while planning for that better tomorrow.